This is how to discern spirits and what type of dark entities are influencing you and the other people that you may know. An indicator someone has given dark spiritual entities permission to influence their current state, unknowingly or knowingly, is the quality of life they are living and their inner and outer dialogue. And I will run through an example to better illustrate this. So earlier this year, I went to work, and as the day progressed, I became aware of an energy almost in the background as I'm driving around at work. And my thought process put some language to this energy, translated it as something like, I'm feeling stuck, I'm spinning my wheels, I'm not getting anywhere that I hope to get, and at this rate, I might not get anywhere. I feel like I need to be somewhere else, and I'm fearing missing out on some elusive life I should be living, but that's not my here and now, and I may not ever reach it. This is kind of what it sounded like to me. So these are the thoughts flooding my mind, and the thoughts are not really attached to anything in my life. It didn't feel relevant to my experience. I didn't even have evidence to support these statements. And something is here that I haven't actually previously acknowledged, that it may actually be a spirit, but I'm sensing this lingering energy mostly because of how heavy it started to feel in the background while I'm working. And this is the first time I'm allowing or participating with it. And I've allowed it to speak to me for this first time because before then I was trying to resist it. And basically the spirit is trying to have me create an experience of hopelessness, which again, at the time of sensing it, I had no circumstances to suggest I should experience hopelessness. So the next flow of ideas coming from the spirit is something like, you're stuck, you're not gaining any momentum, you should probably just chill out and sit in this feeling, just stay in this feeling, and don't resist it. You should be feeling this way, allow yourself to feel this way. And I felt this invitation, almost like this pull. So I decided to quit ignoring it or swatting it away. I'm going to actually acknowledge that it is there, instead of lingering in the background and looming over my mind. So while I'm driving around, I start to acknowledge that there is also an accommodating feeling of hopelessness to these thoughts. I disagree with hopelessness, and I'm not going to run with it or participate with it any further. And this is how I actually audit my current state, how I actually check in with myself, and this could actually help you identify spiritual influences as well. When I become aware of an influencing spirit that brings an agenda, I'm not going to condemn or judge myself for thinking or feeling a certain way. It's kind of like stepping in dog poo. I'm not going to beat myself up for doing that. It's an accident, and I'm definitely going to address it, but not shame myself for accidentally stepping in something I shouldn't have. So I'm cleaning my shoe off, and I'm allowing myself to participate and understand what is happening. Firstly, I'm going to acknowledge what I have been resisting or possibly resisting even feeling. I name the experience. So I'm sensing some hopelessness. Then I'm fleshing out how I feel, and I get specific with it. Then I'm going to search in my mind and heart, is there any evidence to support this proposal? Do I lack momentum? What is this elusive life I'm being teased with? Where is this? What does it look like? Do I have any specific idea of where I should be right now or doing instead of what I'm doing right now? Up until now, I've ignored this unidentified thing for a week, which allowed it to actually participate with me. And it got to steal from moments in my life, not ruining anything, just scraping off the top, feeding a bit here and there, because I ignored it and I tolerated it. So as I'm facing it and kind of participating with this, I started to have this awareness. What am I believing that is limiting me? I had this statement kind of come to me, I'm not going to be successful, there could be failure here. And I couldn't point to any circumstances I was facing that hopelessness could be applied to. I not actually agreed with this to the point where it becomes attached to a certain area of my life, but I could see the potential and I could see this in its conception period. And I used aesthesis to assess my state, comparing and contrasting the sensation I'm experiencing, because this state is too strong for the actual experiences that I'm having right now. And it doesn't really add up. So this is a telltale sign that some spiritual warfare is going on. So now I step into contrary action. I'm going to speak against that spirit and what it has been proposing. So I say something like, hopelessness, I see you and you don't get to influence my mind or my emotions. I have the desire to complete significant works and it will be done according to my will. So this disagreement dislodges the connection with that agenda and it exposes what the spirit was trying or attempting to do. It's kind of like shining a light on it. Dark entities do not want to be exposed and they do not want their agenda to be exposed or cancelled. And then I need to occupy that space where hopelessness was trying to get in with something else. Mainly the opposition to hopelessness, I find, is thankfulness, and specifically thankfulness for the opportunities I do have. So instead of arguing with that spirit, I actually become thankful for my opportunities and identify what is working, and I stay in that place. Our hope level is the indicator of whether we are believing lies or truth. And if I make this experience all about me, it's going to intensify the experience. Just because you may be experiencing the influences of a dark agenda, it doesn't mean you attracted this or this is your fault or it's tied up in your life. It's quite possible that you may be picking up something in the room as well as being able to identify that on yourself. And judgment wants to make it about you. Your knowledge of good and evil is going to accentuate and highlight the ways that you may not be good enough or you didn't do this or your failure or dysfunction in some area of your life. We end up obsessing over and paying attention to the right and wrong and the good versus evil narrative. That being said, just because you're experiencing it in your life doesn't mean it has anything to do with you or your life, and it's maybe just looking for a place to land to really ravage and attach to. So in conclusion, increasing hope is actually the evidence that we are renewing our mind with truth and creating positive strongholds in our soul. Because hope is the expectation that the future will be better than the present, and we have the power to make it so.